Hello everyone, the purpose of this video is to try and help learners at Campbelltown Grammar School get the very best grade that they can in National 5 Biology. The video is going to be pitched at learners themselves, but hopefully it'll be useful to parents and carers supporting their young people in getting the best grade that they can. I say the best grade that you can, it's not a how to pass video. There's going to be those of you aiming to get a grade C, those aiming to get a grade A and anything else. It's really about you getting the best that you can and making the best uses of the resources that are available to you to prepare for your exams. I'm afraid I don't have any magic wand. I don't have any big secret to tell you about shortcuts to getting the best grade that you can. It is down to things that have been happening for years and years and years. It's about attending class, completing homework and revising. Now, the way in which we do these might change over time and might be different to what it would have been in the past, but I'm afraid it's down to hard work and doing these three things to the best of your ability. Now, it's probably pretty obvious that attending class is probably the main thing that is going to improve your chances of getting the best grade that you can in biology. And I'm well aware that there are reasons why, on occasion, some people cannot attend with genuine reasons. If you are unable to attend, but you're still able to work, then there is work on Google Classroom that you can be doing. You've got the worksheets there. You've got all the resources that you can use to help you progress through so that you're not missing too much. When you're doing that, you're welcome to get in touch with your teacher, and they will be happy to help you, as they will be on your return as well. However, there are a small number who choose not to attend some of the classes. It's so important that you attend class when you can. We've got so much to get through in the year that we cover each thing once. We might briefly go over it ahead of prelims or exams or class tests, but the main learning is done that one time for each piece of, or each content. And so if you miss that, you missed that thing that could come up in the exam, that could be the difference between you getting a pass or not getting a pass, the difference between getting an A or a B. And so it's very, very important that you attend class when you're able to. The homework that's issued to National 5 classes is mainly past paper questions. The reason for this being, other than reinforcing the learning that's done in class and getting practice at that, it gives practice at the style of questions that will be faced in the exam. So when you go into that exam or into that prelim, that they're not unfamiliar to you. Now, homework itself is not a test. So it's very important that it's done open book, that you're looking up the answers to questions that you don't know the answers to, that you're spending a lot of time trying to find the answers. Questions should take much longer in homework than they should do in the exam, because in the exam you're just trying to recall what's already in your head. But doing your homework, look up the answers, try and find the answers. Homework is always given out with several days' notice so that you can attempt the questions in advance, and you can ask your teacher for help as well if you can't find the information in the resources that you've got. So homework, it's really important. Take your time, do it open book, and ask for help if you need it. Now we get to the biggest part of this, looking at revision itself. So in terms of what to revise, I'm not going to go through the detail of the course, that would make this a very long video, but it's divided up into 3 units. So the first 2 units, cell biology and multicellular organisms, will be covered in the prelim that is in January. And so these are the 2 units that you need to work on for that. The 3rd unit is added when it gets to the final exam in April. The exam covers all of the content. It's not like some subjects where you will get a choice when you get into the exam, or there's bits that you can miss out. It's going to cover the whole course, so it's important that you've prepared fully, looking at everything. In order to do that, you need to be organised with your time. it's another fairly obvious one. Don't leave the revision to the last minute. You're not going to manage to cover 2 units for the prelim or 3 for the final exam in a few days. You need to organise yourself and divide your time up appropriately. We have a variety of assessments that go on throughout the course. So we've got the class tests every few weeks covering the work that we've been doing. We've got the prelim exam I've already mentioned in January, and we've got the SQA exam that's at the end of April. We've also got homework. Now, I've said that homework isn't a test, but it does give me an indication of how you are doing. It gives me an indication of the level of effort that you're putting in as well. And I've got wee asterisks next to 3 of these because these things are used to plan next steps. You know, assessment can be a formal thing at the end of a course to see how you've done, to determine your grade, but it can also be what we call formative. It can be there to plan what we do next. And so when we do class tests and homework and even the prelim, we spend time going over it. And it's important that you look at areas where you need to develop, areas that you've struggled with. Now, when we're doing class tests in the prelim, you've actually got your next steps document on Google Classroom, which you're asked to complete, where you've identified next steps, what to do, what you found difficult, and what you're going to do about it. It's important to keep referring back to that. It's always there on Google Classroom, and so you can always look back to it. So when you come to your prelim, you might want to look back to the test halfway through the first unit, and you've got a list of things that you found particularly difficult there that you can focus on to begin with. Obviously, you need to look at all of the work in the first and second unit for the prelim, but it will remind you of the things that you found tough that might require special attention. We're now going to spend a little bit of time looking at some of the different types of question that you could face in the exam and how to prepare for them. So the first type of question is knowledge and understanding, where you're asked to recall information that you've learned. They could be, as this one here is, a multiple choice question. It could be one that requires a short answer, or as we'll look at later, ones that require a slightly longer answer worth usually 4 marks in the exam. Now, a couple of tips for dealing with multiple choice questions in particular. Never miss out an answer. When you're going through the exam or through the test, don't miss out an answer in a multiple choice. Even if you don't know the answer, choose the one you think is most likely and put it down. Even if you're planning on coming back to it at the end of the test, put an answer down. When marking things, I still see multiple choice questions left blank, and that's people just throwing away the chance to get a mark. And so if you think this might be B, then put B on your answer sheet, put a wee asterisk next to it because it's one you're not sure about, and at the end of the test come back and have another think. Okay, you can change your answer on the sheet that you've got for the multiple choice. So just put something down as you go through it and go back to it and spend a bit of time on it later. Another thing, and this isn't just for the multiple choice but for all questions, use the question paper in front of you. Now this question's quite short, it's not got very much text in it, but some have got longer text in them, a piece of information. Write on it, highlight it, underline it, it doesn't matter. Scribble all over, well, within reason, scribble all over the paper, just trying to pull out the pieces of information that you need that's going to help you answer the question. To prepare for the knowledge and understanding questions and the problem solving questions, but to prepare for the knowledge and understanding questions, you've got a wealth of resources available to you. First and foremost, your teacher. Ask your teacher if you're not sure about something. We're here to help. That's what we're here for. Now that could be during the lesson. It could be popping in at a lunchtime or a break or after school. Just come and ask us if there's something you're not sure about. Google Classroom. Lots of resources are posted to Google Classroom. We've got hyperlinked past paper questions, which I'm going to mention later. There's numeracy booklets and all sorts of other things are there. Scholar. Now, all the students listening to this should be aware that Scholar's there. So for the parents, Scholar is a resource that's got the entire National 5 biology course on it. It's got lots of other courses around the school on it as well. It's got materials to help you revise. It's got the course content. It's also got assessments on there so you can test yourself and see how you're doing. There's even videos of tutorial sessions to help pupils learn. Scholar's a great resource. Bite Size is pretty similar, okay, the BBC Bite Size site. It's more about the content than having assessment, but it again covers all of the course. The SQA website. If you're not sure whether or not you need to know something, go to the SQA website, just search National 5 Biology SQA and it'll take you straight to the page, and go to the course specification. In there is the list of all the learning outcomes, all the things that you need to know. So if you're not sure if you need to know something or to what depth you need to know something, or if you just want a checklist for a key area about what it is that you need to know, SQA website, course specification. You've got your own notes. Okay, we've got the sheets that we fill in class. They again cover the whole course. The Bright Red Revision book is a fantastic resource. It's concise. It means that you can work without a screen in front of you and all of the distractions that a screen might involve. Good resource again. Numeracy booklets. I'm going to mention these a wee bit later again, but if you're struggling with numeracy, then we've got these booklets that you can use to help you. You just come and ask your teacher for a copy of them, also available in Google Classroom. Supported study. Supported studies on every week after school, and that can be you coming and asking about a specific question. You could sit and do your homework there. You can come and ask about a topic, and your teacher will teach that topic or that particular piece of work to you in supported study. Now we've got all of these resources. There's a wealth of resources available. What do we do with them? Well, what we don't do with them is what this person here is doing, which is just sitting reading. Absolutely not. There was somebody in the school recently talking about study skills, and they talked about the fact that reading, amongst other things, just sitting reading notes, you don't learn very much. It's quite nice because you can just sit down and you feel like you're doing something useful without investing very much in the way of energy or thought, but equally you don't learn very much. What is very important is that you actively engage with the knowledge and skills. You actively engage with the materials that are there, and that's how you learn. And so there's a variety of ways of doing that. Now the first way is just simply writing out notes using learning outcomes as a guide. So take the notes, don't just copy them word for word, put them into your own words so you're actively engaging with it. Once you've done that, identify the areas for improvement, and I'm afraid just rewrite, condense, change the notes a little bit and go through them. After you've done that, we could have flashcards, okay? These wee bits of card where you can write on both sides, or there's apps that will do the equivalent. Quizlet would be one of them. Got Google Sheets. Google Sheets is a great resource for revising. If you want to use Google Sheets for revising, I'm going to mention it in class, but you can go on to YouTube, and if you just search for revision Google Sheets, and there's videos there showing how to use Google Sheets for revision, it's great because it allows you to make up your own questions, answer them, highlight bits that you find difficult so that you can go back to them. Great resource there. Mind maps, posters, just anything that's changing the information that you've got into another format, moving it about, connecting ideas is going to help you to recall that information in an exam. Now we've got past papers as well. Now there's a couple of different ways in which we can use past papers. In the run up to the final exam, then sit with an entire past paper. I mean, I'm talking just before your final exam. Sit with complete past papers, time yourself, do it in the allocated time, and it gives you practice at getting used to the exam conditions, working for that period of time in one go, and making sure that you're not going to run out of time. Giving you an idea how long you can spend on each type of question, that's very important. But another use of past papers is while we're revising individual topics. And so in Google Classroom, we've got the hyperlinked past papers, which I'll show you now. At the start of this document, which is available in Google Classroom, we have two tables. and we've got a list of all of the topics or key areas that we cover in each of the 3 units. And so we've got the multiple choice questions on this table, and if I move down to the next page, we've got the section 2 questions, the ones that require slightly longer answers. And so if I'd been studying the first topic, cell structure, I can click on, so I'm at 2016, and I can click on that question 1 from 2016, and it'll give me a question about cell structure. Once I've answered the question, I can go straight to the answers and see if I've got it correct, just by clicking at the bottom of the page. I can then go back to the topic grid, and then find another question on cell structure. If I go to the section 2, it works just the same. So if we look at cell structure again, and I move along, I can see there's not a longer question in 2016, but in 2017, we've got a question. So if I click on that, and so I've got this question about cell structure. So I can answer all of that. Now, some of the questions will go over more than one page, not this one. So we've got the question there. I can answer that, and then go to the answers to check that I've got it correct. Then back to the topic grid. So this is another use of past papers. After you've revised either a key area or a section of a unit, you can go and attempt questions on that. So there we have a number of ways to use resources. The important thing, as I say, is to actively engage with the information. So another type of question, we've looked at knowledge and understanding, we've got problem solving and numeracy questions. There are typical things that you could be asked: averages, percentages, ratios, graphs. I'm not going to go through all of these at the moment and how to do them, but you can come and ask. Also, what we have to help you with these is we've got these numeracy booklets, which hopefully you can see in the webcam in the corner. They'll be very small probably. And each of these booklets has got at the start instructions how to do each of the skills. So whether it's averages, it'll tell you how to work out averages, and then there'll be a number of questions asking you questions about averages. Same for percentages, ratios. We've got different ones about graphs and experimental design. And the best way of getting better at this type of question is through working through these booklets and getting practice. The booklets are available on Google Classroom. I also have hard copies of these in my class, which pupils are welcome to come and get. We don't give them out to everybody because there's a lot of pupils and there's an awful lot of these wee booklets, and not everybody needs them. So come and ask me for copies of them if you would like them. Another type of question which will come up in your exam is the scientific literacy question. It's easy to find in past papers. There's, as you can see in this example, a lot of text, very often some information, some data, and it's usually about a scientific study or experiment. And there's a variety of things that you could be asked. I'm not going to list them all just now and go through them all in detail. That would take too long for this video. But these are skills that you should be familiar with. And so the best way to improve these skills is through practice. Again, find these questions in the past papers and attempt them. Look up marking schemes, see if you've got them right. If you haven't got them right, see where you went wrong. The marking schemes are crucial here. Go through it in fine detail and find out exactly what the answer is that has been looked for. Once you've done that with a few different examples, you're going to find it easier to know exactly what to do for future ones. We've also got another wee booklet of scientific literacy practice questions that you could be doing. Again, just come and ask me for a copy and I'll be happy to give you it. This is another question where you might want a highlighter out or to be underlining pieces of information, perhaps while you read it through, but probably more likely once you've read it through and you've read the question and you find all the relevant piece of information to answer that question, underline them just to bring them into focus for answering that question. The final type of question which you will get in your exam is the extended writing question. So these questions are between 3 and 5 marks each, and there'll be 1 or 2 in your exam. As you can see here, in 2018 and 19 there was 2 questions of this type in each of those papers. This is your opportunity to show what you know in a particular topic. It'll ask you a question and you've got to write down a number of relevant facts that are connected to the topic and connected to one another. So basically, empty your head onto the page, write something down, anything, even if, I mean, ideally you're going to have all the detail there and you're going to get the maximum number of marks, but even if you just get some ideas on the page, the marker has got a list of things that they're looking for. And if you've written that down, you're going to get the mark. So you can't write too much for one of these questions. So just put down anything and everything that's relevant to the question. Yet again, practicing these questions is going to improve your skills. You can see the list here of previous questions that you can access through the past papers. In the more recent papers, they're easily identifiable because they are between 3 and 5 marks. There's no other questions worth that number of marks. As we move on, here's a couple of examples of the kind of things that we're looking at. So these are extracted from larger questions. So here's one. By 1300 hours, the blood glucose level had returned to normal from its lowest point. Describe how blood glucose is returned from low to normal levels in the human body. And so you should be thinking about everything to do with, and you're thinking, oh, is it insulin, is it glucagon, there's something to do with the pancreas, the liver, and trying to get all of those ideas into a sensible order and write down all the detail that you can. Right, finally, and probably most importantly, don't panic. Ask for help. It doesn't matter what stage you're at. If you're somebody who's been getting high test marks and you just want to make sure you're getting that A, but there's a wee piece of information you're not sure about, come and ask for help. If you're somebody who feels that they have fallen behind, that it's getting out of control, you've not kept up with the work, come and ask for help. We can help you with either individual pieces of information or help you with trying to organise your learning from where you're at just now and try and get you back up to speed. Don't be sitting worrying about something. Come and speak to your teachers. We can help you, whether it be with the planning or with the information and the knowledge and understanding and the skills. Anyway, I hope this video has been helpful to you. You'll have seen the recurring themes, which are come and ask for help and interact with the revision materials. Don't just do it passively. Don't just be reading. Interact. Be creative. Use the materials that are there and you will get the best grade that you can in National 5 Biology.